Hey, what's up everyone? We're out in the desert for the weekend. We're outside of Grand Junction near the Utah border. We have a pretty cool hike planned for tomorrow. We had to switch up our plans a little bit. We had a 14er planned, and like the trend that's been happening all summer, the weather changed the day before and there's supposed to be some snow up there. So
It's just been a horrible summer for weather and planning, but we'll get it next summer. We got this.
yep, next summer we have two 14ers left, and yeah, I think this hike is going to be pretty cool. It's supposed to have the most concentrated arches in Colorado. I think it's going to be a fun time.
Good morning. So we are just outside of Fruita and we are doing Rattlesnake Canyon and Arches today. This is something that I've been wanting to do for a long time. The opportunity came along because the weather in the mountains is not that great, but out here in the desert, it's a beautiful day. Can't wait to show you guys.
I was commenting earlier about how well I sleep every time we're in the desert. We usually leave the rain fly off of the tent and you can see directly through the main part of the tent. It's just kind of this real thin mesh. And I slept so well last night. And I woke up pretty early, but as soon as I woke up, the coyotes were yelping and singing, and there was almost a full moon out. It just kind of illuminated the desert floor, and I don't know, just sleeping underneath the stars. It's just really a special experience, and just kind of makes you feel human again.
Early 20s, I just randomly decided to take a guided backpacking trip in Utah, and it was a different region down by Escalante, but it was quite fascinating seeing all the Native American ruins, pictographs, petroglyphs, climbing up to these high alcoves and finding their tiny dwellings that would have fit probably about 6 people. Like, seriously, some of these dwellings were like the size of a large box. And scattered around, you could find petrified corn, animal skulls. It was truly one of the coolest things I had ever seen. So the guides were telling us that most of the ruins out in that area, and probably some in this area, belong to a tribe, I believe, called the Fremont people. And what's kind of fascinating is there's evidence of them all around here, but nobody really knows what happened to them. They kind of disappeared as a culture, so they don't know if they were killed by other tribes, if they were killed off by illness. But yeah, you can definitely find a lot of evidence of them in the southwestern United States.
You know, I really think that coming out to the desert was necessary. I just find it to be therapeutic. As mountaineers, we just tend to live within our own ambition and goals, and it really becomes one-dimensional. And I feel like, you know, for us, when we do that, we almost reach this point of burnout. And I think it's like that with a lot of things, you know, jobs, even any kind of activity. And I kind of look at it from a yin and yang perspective, like the yang being like the high action, high energy activity, you know, like mountaineering, all the exposure, the danger. And then sometimes I forget just how important it is to have a little bit of the yin activities as well. Just coming out to this expansive desert and just wandering around. We're the only ones out here. And it's so polar opposite from this entire summer. You know, with COVID happening and everything, I believe that there's probably double the amount of people in a lot of these towns like Aspen and Telluride and everything, and it's just felt so claustrophobic and clustered just going to the wilderness. But out here, I feel like I can just reconnect with my soul. I really love it. So we're descending down to the floor of this canyon now, and that's some really awesome slick rock that we're hiking on. And so we got a little turned around up there. There were social trails that were going every which way, and it took us about 15 minutes to figure out where we were. Luckily we have a GPS, and we just had to do this scrambly descent down further into the canyon where a defined trail is at. Good idea.
It's like a terrible area.
Maybe just build a canyon. Perfect. All right, so we once again got turned around, and it's just confusing because there's truly a lot of social trails around here, and the correct trail is leading us up some pretty steep scrambling. So we're kind of wondering if that was the real trail. After turning around and then going back up, it's indeed the correct trail. So we descended into a canyon, climbed out of the canyon, and I suspect we'll be descending into another canyon. So this is a true canyoneering experience. It's pretty cool though. We're on this cruiser trail right now, just hauling, trying to get around this plateau. On the other side, I believe, is what we've been waiting for, the ARCHES. We'll see. Oh wow, this is really cool. We just made it to all the ARCHES. This is definitely reminding me of something like out in Moab. I have never seen anything like this in Colorado. Wow, this is truly incredible. I have fallen in love with this area. This is definitely a gem. And I am very glad that we decided to be spontaneous and go for this today, because this is exactly what we needed before winter starts. I'm afraid if we're out here for too long, there could likely be an anvil that falls on one of our heads. I hear the coyotes out here are pretty vicious. Alright, so the climax of today is actually scrambling up and going underneath this arch. And it looks like there's going to be quite a bit of smearing. It looks a little intimidating. We'll see how it goes. We'll test our climbing skills. Andrea, how was the first part?
Sucked. It was scary. That was scary. Guys, that was kind of scary. There were no handholds. It was all friction, and
I thought you liked slab.
yeah, I do, and I'm not gonna fall like 100 feet. Just your feet.
You got it. Nice.
Please tell me that's the end.
All right, we're definitely getting to the end of this technical bit, I hope.
Yeah.
Like, we are so exhausted at this point, and it is blistering hot out in this canyon. So we're making our way. All right, we made it back to our junction, and it's pretty much a straight shot back to the car. But we have a couple canyons to go in and to get out of. It has been a pretty challenging day, but man, it is an awesome hike.
Okay, descending down into this canyon, it is an oven. I'm so glad that I have probably about 2 liters of water left over, because this is not fun. And this is like almost October, so go figure. Don't do this hike in midsummer, because you will be suffering.
Yeah, so we got turned around again in the same area. It's just super confusing. So the trail just kind of disappears. But luckily we have Gaia. That really saved our butts. It is still really hot out here, but looks like some clouds moving in, and I am super grateful for that. Probably about a mile and a half from the car, where we have coconut waters waiting for us.
All right, well, we are probably about maybe a little under half a mile from the trailhead, and that was really hard. So what we did today, we did the Hollock Bench Trail to Rattlesnake Canyon, which after all this is said and done, I'm thinking it's definitely a solid 16 miles, even with the arch climb. It definitely has a little bit of everything. The arch is completely optional, and I would not recommend it if you've never climbed slab before, because there are no handholds. There's slopers and friction, but there are a couple of places that do require just a couple friction climbing moves just along the regular trail. So yeah, having some solid experience with that. Definitely doable in one day. A lot of people backpack this trail, but it's a dry canyon. There's absolutely no water sources. We both carried about 3 liters. I still have a full liter left. Jonathan has about a half liter. For whatever reason, I'm like a camel and don't need to drink that much. But yeah, definitely take a look at the weather. Make sure that there's no rain in the forecast, because there's definitely some areas that you would be in high danger if it ever were to flood. Other than that, this was an amazing experience. Super stoked about it, and can't wait to get out here again and explore more of Grand Junction and Fruita area.
Let's go get our coconut water.
Oh my God.
Euphoria.